Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome to some more Hearthstone. Recently, it's been completely full of the Naxx stuff, but I thought, you know what, it's time to return to some proper ranked gameplay. Although I am playing a deck today that includes some of the Naxx cards. It's a Naxxy twist on a classic, and that is the Handlock. Now, before you say I'm scum for playing a Warlock, in my defense, the season reset, so I'm back to high to low, I guess, ranks, and everyone is playing Zoo. Everyone, and it's infuriating. So I made a Handlock deck with Naxx cards in order to counter it and swiftly progress past these ranks. So today we're going to be playing 2 free games of it. You can see what it's all about, and we'll just generally have the fun. Yes, we will. So let's queue in before. Now that I've said it's just constant Zoo, we're not actually going to get a Zoo. I played maybe 10 games last night, 9 Zoo, 1 Paladin. The Paladin played turn 1 Light's Justice and hit me in the face. Now, just want you to appreciate the quality of that play. Alright, so Miracle is probably what this is, and that's quite good actually. Handlock does have a good matchup against Miracle. A Twilight Drake is not that useful, neither is Mortal Coil, although it could be Cancer Rogue, but even then, I still stop Cancer Rogue by getting good early hands. So I actually don't want any of them. I want the lower Taunter, perfect, and this combo, Sunfury Nature Watcher and Opening Hand, is fantastic against Cancer, and it's also great against Miracle. Miracle only has 2 saps, and as long as they get used early on, you then get down a big taunt, and really, she got nothing. Now, hopefully we'll see the next cards coming up that I've got in here. It's mainly the Sludge Belcher that makes this a great addition. In fact, I can turn to go quite offensive here. Ancient Watcher into Ironbeak Owl and just force her to do 5 damage worth of burn straight away. But I'll know from her turn 1 what type of rogue she is, unless she's very unlucky and hasn't actually drawn any Cancer Rogue cards, so like 1-drops like Lepanome or Argent Squire. Either that or she's just thinking very carefully of which one of the 4 1-drops to do, or she was considering coining for a weapon. But as she is Miracle, it's sensible to just get an armada of cards going. If she was the Cancer, I definitely would have played the Ancient Watcher, but right now I have the luxury of just being able to keep hammering cards. I'll get the Mountain Giant early and start forcing removal or saps before she can get to a position that actually really benefits her. Mountain Giant turn 4 is the normal thing, so again, just gonna draw and move on with our lives. I think that makes the most sense. We may see a minion here, but again, I don't really think so. She might just hit me in the face. Oh, a Weblord! That's quite sneaky to put in Miracle, actually. I don't mind that at all. Unfortunately, it does nothing to a Mountain Giant, and I'm just going to solve. Is it worth it? No, I'm going to save the Soulfire, because honestly, this isn't a threat, and I can Soulfire it at any point that I want. I mean, there's 1 damage, and maybe if she puts Deadly Poison and then double Cold Bloods the Weblord to trade with a Mountain Giant, but that's very unlikely and also a massive investment. So we're probably going to see a 5 damage Eviscerate on my face? Really? Okay, so she's just ignoring the Mountain Giant. That's honestly quite good for me. But at the same time, it's also very worrying because I am already on 17 health. Now, I'm very tempted to Hellfire, but it kills a 1-1, which is, of course, not really that useful. So I'm going to Saltfire here, get rid of this. Okay, cool. That's not ideal, the card that I wanted to lose there, but it's also not the worst thing. And then I've got a nice, easy turn in killing that, getting rid of it. I don't need to push damage out at the moment. Can play that down, and then I can taunt them both up, meaning they both have to get removed by that rogue. Now, this is a good sap target because it has got the taunt buff, but then I can just play it again, so it's not a big deal. In fact, can I play it again? I'll have 6 cards. Yeah, I'll be exactly able to play it again next turn, so that's really, really quite good. Lotheb is fine, honestly. Lotheb is great against Warlock because it makes Soulfire cost 5 mana, which is, of course, ridiculous. That's kind of annoying, actually, because I probably would have played that in order to clear the Lotheb. But I am just going to use this opportunity to Faceless Manipulator my Giant And probably hit face, honestly. I don't need to trade. I mean, it will... Yeah, I'll let him do the trade, because I'm going to have 2 health left on this mountain giant, whatever, and it's not like he's going to get through those 2 without 2 saps. 14 health worth of removal is a lot to do on 6 cards and 6 mana. Part of Knives is fine, he's just searching for something, but that has used half his turn, and he still can't even kill one of these giants. And yeah, there we go, and then the Lotheb is going to trade. But I got the extra 8 damage in, which is the important thing. And Mortal Coil, okay. Yeah, here there's really not much to do. I'm going to play a Twilight Drake, so I might as well tap first, see what I get, also giving it an extra bit of health. And that will do, just keep smashing away into him. Honestly, I'm close to Hellfire, just finishing him off. I do a Shadow Flame to clear, I've got 2 good silences. I'm looking pretty much solid here. We haven't seen any actual miracle going on. Yep, and there we go. So we didn't actually get to the next cards, just played a pretty standard Handlock game, but that generally is how things go. And welcome to the Blood Knight? Is it the Blood Knight? The Divine Blood Elf Paladin Major. I really don't really know what I'm talking about at this stage at all, but that's okay because hay is made of grass. It's not made of grass. What is hay made of? I don't know why I have these with my thoughts here, but what is hay made of? Alright, please can we have a Zoolock? No, we got a Hunter, but at this rank, probably Face Hunter, though potentially mid-range, but we'll see. We'll see. Ancient Watcher is good, but it requires an activator early on against a Hunter, so I'm going to risk it and hope that I get an Owl or a 2-mana Taunt. And there we go. So we've got a pretty good hand against both types of Hunter here. So it all comes down... I think I'd rather him be Face Hunter, just because I do have such a good way of stopping it, but again, it's not really a big deal. Oh, Hellfire's fantastic as well. Alright, Mr. Hunter, what you got for me, Rexar? You gonna try and wreck my ma? I don't know what I said there, that was, I apologize, a web spinner, so that could be indicative of both types of Hunter. The question remains is, if I knew his Face Hunter, I'd play the Ancient Watcher, but as I don't, I'm going to take this opportunity to do an extra draw. Because, I mean, on turn 4, obviously I've got my Giant, but I also have Ancient Watcher with a Taunt. So I do have quite a versatile turn 4, and I do have Soulfire if he plays anything particularly offensive. Alright, so it looks like he's still potentially mid-range here. This certainly isn't Face, he'd be having a much more aggro start. And there is the addition of the Sludge Belcher, a fantastic stally card for Handlock. So yeah, I mean, I'm only taking 2 damage a turn here from that, and I've also got Lotheb in this deck, just to have a nice stall against spell-heavy decks. And I think that's absolutely fine. We'll drop a Giant next turn and see how he deals with it. If he immediately responds with a Secret, it's probably Frozen Trap, so I should probably not attack, but he could bluff me out. But then again, at this rank, is he likely to bluff me out? Because I'm not so sure. In fact, I might actually just Hellfire next turn. Of course, the disadvantage to that is 2 of the spiders come back, and he gets his beast off the web spinner, so it's not fantastic value. Maybe if I had some Mortal Coils to follow it up, that would be lovely. And here we are with the bow. Surprised he didn't attack me there. He should be trying to kill me before I can start getting my wall of giants. So this is just going to be a tester. I want to see what his response to a giant is before I can identify how I should progress from this point. I mean, more than likely, I'm going to be putting a Lotheb down. If this giant survives, it's going to be Lotheb. If it doesn't, it's going to be Sludge Belcher. The reason it would be Lotheb if he survives is because then it means all his removal spells suddenly aren't playable. All his traps become 7 mana, which is obviously a big problem for him. Alright, probably going to see a Houndmaster on here. That's the only thing that really could be, I mean, maybe Bestial Wrath, but no one in their right mind is going to use that. So, there's the Houndmaster, which now makes Hellfire a generally much better play, because yes, 2/1/1 spiders come back, but the value now kills a buff and the thing that buffed it. So, probably Hellfire. I'd love to draw a Mortal Coil here, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, technically speaking, I could Soulfire that, then Hellfire, but if I discard my Hellfire, then that's going to be absolutely horrible. So, yeah, I'm going to use this opportunity to Hellfire, cleave everything away, and just do 8 damage to his face. Now, of course, he can clear the giant with those 2 and his weapon, but that makes him take another 8 damage, and I'm getting close to a free mountain giant. In fact, next turn, I will have a free mountain giant, which is perfect. In fact, yeah, free Mountain Giant followed by a Sunfury Protector and then Argus, both of them, would be quite a good wall to prevent future damage. I mean, potentially, I am dead here, because 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, yeah, he's not killing me if he's playing a Web Spinner. Is he kill commanding that? Yep, that makes sense. That's a nice clean way to finish that giant off. And then hopefully he hits me with the bow. But even if he doesn't, the 2 damage from these 2 spiders should give me a nice Mountain Giant turn. If he's read me well, he actually won't attack. So that's really not bad by him. However, this Shadow Flame is going to be very, very helpful. I'm actually going to play the Sludge Belcher just to slightly stall a little bit. Actually, is it worth it? Because I can, of course, play the Moltent with a Sunfury Protector, but then I also can play these 2. In fact, I can play all 3 of these at once. I think that's slightly a better turn here, honestly, to taunt that up and then taunt these 2 up, because it's not so much the health of your taunts that matters at this stage of the game, but it's the amount that they have to get through. For example, an Unleash the Hound here would be very, very weak. He'd need both Hunter's Marks in order to get through both these taunts effectively, so I'm almost certainly okay for the turn, but it is getting a little bit on the danger side, though the good news is I can Molten Giant with a Defender, and assuming just one of these minions survives, I'm going to have massive value taunts on the field. So Handlock, honestly guys, is all about getting to this kind of low health, and then just becoming an iron concrete wall of you cannot kill me, and I'm going to kill you. I mean, he can obviously just kill command my 4-5. I mean, he's not doing that now because he just got rid of his beast, but maybe he's hoping for a good draw off that. Savannah Highmane would actually be quite good, though it wouldn't protect him from being killed, which is what he's probably going for. Of course, he could have finished off with his bow, but in fact, that's a good point. He should have just killed that with his bow and then traded that into there if he wanted the beast, but he must have a backup plan because otherwise that trade really doesn't make sense. Mr. Agrathor of Thorington. Again, I don't know why I said that, and I feel like I should apologize. Time moves quickly, bro. The time is moving quickly. There's quick time happening. Quickly is speed. Ropes burning. Wasting fire. Unleash the Hounds is the only thing that makes sense here. Yep, gonna buff up a massive hyena. Please play a Buzzard after that, just for the sheer Okay, a secret is interesting. Did he get all his attacks off in time, though? It did run out. Fortunately, they aren't beasts, otherwise this really would be something I couldn't deal with. And, oh, he didn't actually get the last attack off! That is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, because clearly I can just do that. And then, obviously, I'm going to see what kind of secret this is. I mean, Explosive Trap is by far the most sense. Yep, there we go. And then, honestly, at this point, I'm just going to try and put myself out of any potential kill range by doing the only sensible play I have with this hand and healing myself by 3. And then next turn, of course, we have all of the power, but 7 health, 14 damage burst from a control-y type hunter really isn't going to happen. I mean, it would need a Leroy, another Unleash the Hounds, which is the entire 7 mana, and then he'd hit my face for 6 plus 4. 6 4 is 10, he'd do 13 damage with that, so still not quite there. He was obviously hoping for a taunt or a charge there, so he could clear some damage off my board, although that's really not bad for him either. And then he should kill my 3-3, so I don't have the ability to trade. Alright, well he is certainly holding on as much as he can, but I do have a very effective turn here. 4 mana giant, buff those up for 4 each. For 4 each? I just, for some reason, no idea what I'm talking about. And that's irritating losing the Belcher there, but it's also really quite fine. So it depends what he does with this Leok, honestly. I mean, he can trade that for free, but I'd rather him make that call than me have to do it, because again, number of taunts is key. I want him to have to waste his attacks into taunts than me doing it for him and giving him another attack. That charge is fine. On 3 mana, he's not going to play anything ridiculously good. So he's going to charge that in, finish that off with a Web Spinner. That's a good use of it. Get the other card. Oh, does that mean... that means he got a Web Spinner from a Web Spinner. That's quite rare, actually. Annoyingly, I don't get to Mortal Coil it. And I'm actually reasonably low on cards here. That's very useful of him, because what he can do is attack into that. That's going to go to 5. And then if he sacrifices another beast, he is going to be able to kill my giant with the hyena, but it is a very big cost to him to be able to do this. This game could actually go either way now. He's had a very good turn to try and come back from this. He has to sacrifice either the rhino or the orc and the hyena. That's the only real combination that can do this, so he's just trying to decide which one is most valuable to him, because losing the charge is big, and then also losing the taunt is big, so he's actually got quite a difficult decision to make here. Is he actually going to do it? Honestly, there's nothing wrong with him just ending his turn here, because I've used a Shadow Flame, and normally Handlocks don't use more than one. That's very surprising. Honestly, to me, that's just categorically the worst decision he could have made, but I don't know what card in his has in his hand, and maybe it's something that he really, really wants to kill me with. Now, Leroy here is actually not bad, simply because I can Mortal Coil, and therefore he'd have to trade something else into it, and I get 6 damage out. So I'm going to do this, and use my draw like this, because I require an extra card, but I really don't want to give up on health. That's actually perfect. That's really good, because it means it no longer gives all the beast charge, and whatever he has in his hand is suddenly a much less of a threat. So let's think about this. He has 3 damage on the board, which would put me to 9. A King Crush, at most, would put me to 1, because a few people like to get King Crush here. And then a Hyena would put me to 6. 2 from the hero power. 6, 7, 8, 9... 10, 11. Yeah, I can't afford to tap here. There's a certain combination of cards that could kill me if I tap. But also, those get traded, and then I don't really have a way to finish him off. Is he likely to draw lethal if I tap? 10 damage, 3 on the field, 5 from that. He'd need 5 damage from hand to kill me, and that's just a kill command. So I really can't risk it. We'll see how he does this. I mean, silencing that is obviously a very good decision there, because he's obviously holding a beast that he needed this charge for. I think that's an okay read by me. And then this Lotheb isn't that useful, but I will be playing it next turn just to stop any potential kill commands. Oh no! The thing nearly had charge anyway! So yeah, they're going to go, and then he's going to trade for the Owl for free, potentially. And then obviously I'm going to start taking 2 damage a turn, which is a problem. Which is a big problem. He's not going to leave that because I could power overwhelming it and just win. That's actually a very, very, very nice draw here, because not only does it means he can't use spells to get rid of that effectively, because he'd need a 8 mana kill command, but if he does that, he then can't really play anything else, which means I'm likely to keep this defender, which means I'm probably going to be able to kill him, as with 2 draws and only 14 cards left, there's quite a few cards in my deck that would spell his defeat, but this is quite the slow control match here. That's the one thing I don't like about Handlock is... Oh, that is unlucky! 8 mana deadly shot and it hits the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, he's put it back to 5. Oh, he's still in this. This is going to come down to my draw. Faceless Manipulate. Oh, if that still had charge, I could just copy it and win. So 4 damage and then 6 from that. That's a problem. That is a problem. I either tap here, hope I get lethal, and then trade that, and then... Ooh, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to do it. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So I will do that and then be like... Oh! Oh! Oops! Oops! Psych! He even said thank you! He even said thank you! That was a very, very nice control game, I have to say. I enjoyed that. But yeah, as I was saying, the one downside to ranking up as a Handlock is that it's very slow. All the games tend to be quite slow, so getting through the early ranks, which is just a massive grind, is fairly tedious, though Handlock does have a good win rate against people at these ranks because they just don't know how to efficiently deal with all your big guys. But of course, we've not faced any actual Zoo Warlock this entire time, which is just typical, but you know, it's fine. Hellfire's good against a Shaman, simply for the early clearance. And I'm going to get rid of Molten Giant, but Twilight, should have got rid of Twilight Drake. That was actually really stupid. Completely forgot who I was facing for a second there. Twilight Drake is practically useless against a Shaman because Earthshock gets the biggest value of its life against a Twilight Drake. I should not have done that. Really should not have done that. I mean, I can play it and bait out the Earthshock, but it's just not worth it. It's a 4 mana investment to get rid of a 1 mana card. He probably won't do anything except Argent Squire, so that's fine. I'm happy if he does that. Okay, cool. Even better. Now, there's an argument of coining out some Fury Protector against a Shaman, but again, against a Shaman, Rock Bite and Lightning Bolt both deal with it rather nicely. The only, again, counter-argument to that would be that it stops him toteming, because he'd have to use one of his mana, but it's not a big enough counter-argument that it's actually worth doing. That's just a non-existent threat right now, so I can just ignore it and tap quite nicely. What's annoying about having the coin is you get to turn 3 and it costs 4 mana, and you're like, coin! Oh, wait, yeah, I am a dumbass. And you just realize you can't play your bloody giant. I'm actually going to play this owl here, simply to nullify that. Now, the reason for doing this is because I still get the ability to play this giant next turn, and it means Hellfire is a lot stronger because it doesn't come back as a 4/4. It also puts this to 1 health, which then makes it quite mortal coilable. And he's not going to waste an overload card on killing Ironbeak Owl. That's fairly irritating because obviously he's getting value out of the dead egg, but again, I still have good Hellfire value here. Now, he'll probably have a Hex he's toting, so do I bait out a Hex here, or do I Hellfire? That's the main decision I have to make. Or, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a Hidden Option C, and Faceless Manipulator this, and make him waste removal on what is effectively his own card, and then play the Mountain Giant next turn, because what this does is both bait the removal and save me at the same time, whereas Mountain Giant was just bait removal and Hellfire was just save me. So this accomplishes 2 goals at once for 1 card, and is a lot more of a mana-efficient, safe option here. So we'll see how he chooses to get past this. I mean, if he hits it with this, then it puts it in Hellfire range, and Hellfire is thus much stronger, because he can just boom, boom, gets rid of that, saves this, and if he gets a healing totem, he might be thinking, yeah! In that way, you have to think, yeah! If you get that kind of RNG. Please get a healing totem, because it will, a lightning bolt and the 1/1 from the egg. That he could not have asked for a better totem there. He really couldn't. That's very good value from that egg from him. I really don't know what his backup plan would have been if he didn't do that, but unfortunately he did. Shadow Flame, very good here. Turn 6, Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame, though it doesn't kill that, which is still really irritating me. But honestly, I'm going to drop the Hellfire here. I'm dropping the Hellfire specifically for my next turn, Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame, because I am very behind on board here, and I need a way to efficiently clear, and that's a perfect card for him to play in order for me to do that. I'm really quite happy with that. So there we go, Ancient Watcher and Shadow Flame X. Clear his board, everything's back to normal, and next turn, again, I can finally play this freaking Mountain Giant. Although Earthen Ring Farseer is probably going to be a more sensible option. What you got for me, Mr. Shaman? He has drawn... Yeah, no, we're actually the same on draws, because obviously I did do a bit of tapping at the start. See, it looks like I'm already instantly losing because I'm on 12 health, but with the board state as it is, this is about right for a Handlock. It's not really burstable, but it gives me access to my Molten Giants quite readily. Like, if I draw a Molten Giant next turn, I can taunt 2 things up, which is going to be very helpful. But, of course, that relies on a bit of hard off the cards action. He's hovering, he's thinking. A Fire Elemental to the face, that's actually quite a good play. I am struggling against this guy. He has been doing some rather neat things. So, if I Twilight Drake and taunt it, it gets Earthshocked, I pretty much lose. If I do this, it gets Hexed. He has to at least attack it. Whereas if I play the Earthen Ring, the Earthen Ring's not really that useful. I'm just going to drop this and kind of hope that he hasn't drawn Hex yet. That's really the only thing I can do here. I mean, obviously, he can just ignore it and lightning bolt me and lose, but yeah, okay, so I have lost. Sometimes it just, you cannot get your giants going fast enough, and this happens, but, you know, every deck is not infallible, and we are, of course, at the end of the day, playing a game that's entirely dependent on luck. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Hearthstone is 50% luck, 40% skill, and 10% deck building, and you basically have to flip a coin each game. So there you go, everybody. That is my Handlock Naxx edition. We really didn't get to see that many Naxx cards, but I hope you still enjoyed some nice competitive play. I'm going to be ranking up quite a lot this season. I want to get Legend again now that Naxx is out and I actually really am back into playing Hearthstone. So look forward to that. And yeah, a Hearthstone Hijinks is coming up where I'm going to be playing every single Naxx card in one deck so far, so that should be good as well. But for now, my name has been RageGamingVideos. Like if you've enjoyed this, it really does help, and subscribe for more. Goodbye.
You've been watching.